Hello everyone, this is Tyler with Legendary Vegan Art, and today I'm going to do some more drawing practice, but instead of doing figure drawing, today I'm going to do faces and expressions with the very useful artists.pixelovely.com drawing tools. They have a lot of really great stuff, tools for drawing figures, faces and expressions, animals, hands and feet, but the ones I like most are figure drawing and faces and expressions. So you get a choice between expression types. I'm choosing all expressions, both genders. And I don't really like the divisions of the class mode for the trainer, so I'm just going to do my own breakup of a few 30 seconds to warm up, then several more 60 seconds and 2 minutes, and maybe a 5 minute or a 10 minute when we're done. I don't have a template for these because, again, I don't really use the baked-in divisions, so I'm going to just jump in, get drawing, and I like these 30 second poses, not poses, but expressions, because you really gotta jump in and make decisions super fast if you want to get anything resembling an expression. And doing this just taught me so much about getting a face down. Even if it's not accurate, you really can try and get an expression fairly well. Man, this is off, but hey, that's why we do these, is to shake off the rust. Oh boy, gotta do this very differently. Sorry for the crunched screen space here. I'm trying to figure out a better way of recording the expression window separately. But until I figure something else out, this is what we're stuck with. Alright, some hair in this hairline, and there, face, okay. Yeah, time to spare, goody, okay. Really, I'm going to try and do the next one a little better, but that got the idea down, okay. Not too much to go on here. I might switch to a different pencil. Thank you. Too big. Alright, this one's pretty much a wash. Better? Better. Sorry, I actually reinstalled Windows recently, and I've lost all my old presets from Manga Studio, so I'm kind of waiting till that gets back into things. Oh boy, this is a good one. Let's just draw this eye, nose. I think it'll be better if I just go straight for the features and try and drop in their relative distance to each other just on the fly, because for such a short time like this, it's not really worth being too careful about accuracy. Well, that doesn't really look like anything. Well, no. Okay, that's teeth. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh no. Okay, this model is actually one of my favorite of the ones on this site. She's very, very pretty, but she also has very subtle features that are sometimes hard to capture, so she's one of the more interesting and more pretty ladies to draw, so it's always a treat when she comes up. I don't think this is quite right, but hey, 30 seconds, who cares? You can't judge yourself too much on these because you're not trying to get that much done, just loosen up. Okay, after this one, this is so good. Right, there's this really sharp division there. And this is one where the nose plays a big part of the expression. Normally I give a sort of hierarchy to the different facial features. I think this is coming together pretty well. I think with this I'm starting to finally get back into the groove of things. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's go back and set it to 60 seconds. There's a sort of hierarchy of importance to facial features, and it should be pretty obvious that the mouth and eyes are the most important, but pretty soon after that is the nose and the shape of the sort of outside of the face and the cheeks, as they deform quite a lot with expression, more than a lot of people realize, more than a lot of amateur artists realize. I say that as if I'm some expert. I'm not. I am myself an amateur. I could call myself a pro if I made money with my art, but that's not really happened yet. Anyway, what was we talking about? Man, this guy smiles scary. But by really going for it all the way, I think we can sell the expression. And I like to put in the teeth pretty subtly, or else they're very jarring. Alright. Get these kind of high arched eyebrows. Alright. I can do this hairline down here, but for this guy, the shape of the face isn't as important. It's nice. It helps. Okay, that's all we have time for. But getting the eyes, nose, and mouth sold it a lot more. I do want to put in a sort of line of the face here so I don't draw this one too straight on. Let's see. Line of that eye's going down a little, so bring this down. It's really sort of letting yourself build up the standard toolset of techniques as you increase your time limit on these. Because in the low time ones, you just gotta go with your gut feeling and to develop that so it's kinda good. But for a full drawing, you wouldn't want to rely on just that. You obviously want to use lots of measuring techniques. But you have to develop both sides of your skill set. Your gut feeling has to be good, and your measuring techniques have to be good. And it's too easy to let yourself use these very mechanical, sort of, but at the same time emotionless, oh boy, measuring techniques to the exclusion of, or sort of let the expression get lost. And say, oh, well, I did all this measuring and stuff, right? Why does it look so uninteresting? It's because they're not using their feelings. Okay, get that eye shape pretty well. That's one thing I like to do to anchor these shorter drawings, is get the first shape of one eye pretty well, pretty accurate in my mind. And then everything else sort of follows, using that one eye as a landmark. And even if the locations aren't right, getting the relative shapes of everything else right, using that first eye as a landmark, not just for location but for expression, it really helps a lot. I'm worrying too much about that guy's chin. It's not the most important feature I should be working on. Nope, I'm losing it. Alright, I'm not going to do too many more 60 seconds. Because when you do these for a while, these short ones, you really get hungry to do a nice long study. And finally letting yourself do that is a pretty great release. Letting you stretch your wings after sort of shackling yourself for a little while. And these perspective drawings are really hard. Most people don't want to let the sort of nose intrude on the face, even though it's very important for these kinds of advanced perspective shots. And it's something I need to practice a lot more. Good thing I get the chance, as of now. Okay, I often fudge these lower lips and give people big, gross cartoon lips when I'm drawing these. Alright, I think that's about enough of that. Let's do some 2-minute drawings. Maybe zoom out just a touch. Give yourself a little more space to play. And go. Let's do maybe 3 of these. Alright, I like this model too. She's very expressive. She has a lot of fun, you can tell. Let's get this first eye in. There's not much to show other than this sort of crescent shape, but I can finally start putting on some eyelashes, these creases of the face, some of the fun stuff. Normally I'd try and draw in a face with guidelines, but this angle is so odd it sort of defies the way I normally know how to do that, so it's not going to happen this time. That's what I'd normally do, given a little more time. Drawing this eyebrow, pretty nice. There's something going on here. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at, so I might just leave that. This comes up a little too far. Again, people consider certain essential features of a face unflattering and tend to underemphasize them, like the nose, even though they're quite important. And I don't want to, de-emphasize the nostril so much that I've ruined the face, just because I think it looks a little funny. And it does, but that's good. It's a funny expression, so. Let's give a sort of jagged shape here for the teeth. Don't have to be accurate, just something jagged enough to clue the viewer into what you're doing. Perfectionism is your enemy when doing this, and honestly when doing any kind of art. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive to be good, but perfectionism is an insidious enemy, because it will prevent you from doing anything. And as an artist, you have to get something done. Or else you're not really an artist, you're kind of just a waffler. Sorry, that was mean. That's mostly passive-aggressive self-loathing. Trying to constantly get myself to get stuff done. Alright. Now I'm going to be relying a little more on these face guidelines. There's a bit of a bump here for the brow ridge. And the chin's a little indistinct because he's got a beard, but I know where this is going to go. I'm bringing in more of an illustrative comic book style for this, instead of just purely observational, because that's kind of what I like to do. I don't always have these nice goofy expression references on hand. This is going to be another one where the nose sort of comes up into where you think of the normal features of the face, like the eye and the cheekbones. I got the sort of the nose moving in on your territory. Let's see. Don't want to get too caught up here. Just get this other eye in. Some of my guidelines are getting in the way of the expressiveness of that eye. Let's see. Let's bring that down. Tear duct down here. Okay. Eyebrows. Gotta draw kind of fuzzy. Let's draw these creases here, and let's see. Nose, nostril. Nostril's very wide. This one's a little more blunt. Let's see, this comes out a little more, and then in. So we have room for that. Okay, the placement's not perfect, but I gotta work on the mouth some more. Okay, going for, whoa, too far. If the shape of the mouth, the curves look too complicated, I always try and decomplexify it. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. But I try to decomplicate it by reducing it to straight lines. Well, ran out of time there. Let's get this guy's sort of smug over the shoulder look. Get that chin. Boil that down to some straight lines. And that helps you make sure things aren't over-exaggerated, because the tendency to draw curves gives you a tendency to over-exaggerate things. No, over-exaggerate's a bit of a redundancy, but deal with it. Alright. Better? Okay. Let's move up to the nose, which will be about here. How far does this come in? Oh, a little further. Oops. Jumped off my pencil tool. Let's see. Relative to the nose, the eye is about here. Again, this is the sort of vertical line measuring test. Take a little bit of a break to draw this guy. But you can always try and landmark things by saying, well, this comes out here, and drawing a straight line up, that's about where the tear duct lands, so it's a pretty good measuring technique. I use that a lot in observational drawing. Barest hint of his iris there. Okay, draws brow ridge. This is coming together pretty well. Hair, hair, ear. Let's see. Does this go? Doesn't really matter. Neck, neck, shirt. Doesn't really matter. His head. How long is this going on? Did I bump up the time and just completely forget? Oh, eyebrows. Those are important. More time for the ear. Okay. Moving on. These are a lot of fun. She's got a lot of good expressions too. The downside to using these kind of tools is they don't always update as much as you'd really want them to, and sometimes you see a lot of repeats, but since you do the same drawing, the same expression in different times, you get to sort of experience it differently. Let's see, let's move this off to the side a little. So even if you see the same or similar expression, you might be doing one, you know, in a 30-second time slot, and the next time you see it, you may have, 5 minutes. Okay, this is turning out way too big, but whatever, we can always fix it and adjust. Fix it and adjust. Good, good, good. Okay. Standard guidelines put your eyes at one eye width apart for your average face. I'm going to try and eyeball that for this. Also putting in these creases over the eyes, that's another feature I need to start putting in at about this point. See, this eyebrow is kind of trimmed and starts over here. It's a little unusual. Yeah, I need a lot more room for the face here. So let's just ditch that. Put it back in when we have the mouth where it needs to be. Just put in the lower lip. A sort of crease of the upper lip. There we go. Don't know quite what to do for the tongue here. That kind of looks like it. Let's see. These creases of the face that run from the corner of the nose to the corner of the mouth are very hard to get right without looking very, very unflattering and really aging your subject. That's something I'm also trying to work on every chance I get. Let's see. Let's give ourselves a 5-minute. Let's see, how long has this been running? 17 minutes? Yeah, let's just do one of these and call it a day. Alright. Good subject. Let's see. I need a bigger eraser. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Let's put in... Her nose is about there. If anything, it's even more angled. Mouth's about here. Her chin comes down a little further. But it's just rough for now. Makes that a lot easier to parse. Let's see. Okay. Have a lot more time to get these eyes right. And again, doing that vertical line test, this corner of the mouth, corner of the nostril, and tear duct all just about line up. So it looks like our guides have that more or less in place. Let's just define it a little better. Let's see. Don't want to jump around too much, but you know, this is informal. I can work on what I like. I kind of like this method I've come up with of just drawing in this arch and a line for the bottom lip. Trying to draw more sort of over renders it and doesn't look too great most of the time for these kind of line drawings. I think I've mentioned this before, but when drawing eyes, I like to break the top lid into sort of 3 lines and work on it from there, and the bottom lid, usually only 2 or 3, is enough to really get the look and the expression of it. Let's see, let's get this nice arched eyebrow, helps expression, and let's see, where's this fall? About with that nostril as well, and that one falls not as easy of a place to recognize, but it is helping me realize that I have the chin in the wrong place, because that starts more down here, and that accentuates the sort of lopsided look of this goofy grin. That'll be a lot better. This is going to be important. This crease here. I might erase this middle part. Just have them sort of subtly indicate each other, point to each other. Sort of gently accentuate the sort of bulge in the cheek up here. Let's get the eye in. 1, 2, it's probably enough for that. Tear duct. 1, 2, 3. Sort of meet here, but you can see a bit of the rim of the eyelid. So, let's make sure we get the irises right, because this one you can see almost all of the eye. This one, the bottom part of the iris is cut off just a little more. Which are going to look pretty crazy with their pupils put in here, but that's okay. And whoops, shrink that down so we can put in that highlight. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I did. Yeah, that looks alright. Before I forget, let's make that eraser big so we can use it properly. Let's see, that gives us a good idea of where the cheek goes. Now that that's in place, let's see, get our hair coming down here. Let's see, the eye, or not the eye, the ear, matches about this sort of curve. Bottom of it, about where the nostril is, and you've got the earring. I don't want to get too caught up in ornamentation, because that's not really part of the expression. They're important to draw, but not when I'm pressed for time like this. Rough in the hairline. Let's see, this part is a lot closer to that eyelid, or eyebrow. Eyelid, I'm smart. Let's bring that down there. Good enough for now. No, it's not. It's way closer. Better. And then down again. About where that earring thing. Jawline. Sort of line in the face. Alright, this is really coming together. Not perfect, but I had fun. Oh, and we're done. Okay, well, that's a pretty good face. Let's go back and look at these. I'm kind of scared. See what I'm going to find. Yep, some of these early ones are kind of rough, but good practice. Again, these aren't art pieces. These aren't to show anyone, except I'm showing anyone who watches my YouTube channel, but shh. Good practice. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you enjoy that site if you haven't used it before. It's a really great learning tool. And I will be back next week with some more art videos. And until then, keep it vegan. Bye, guys.